तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ओम तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are in the chapter 30, the Master in Various Moods, Thursday, October 2nd, 1884. And we are on page 586. In Bengali, page 613, Pancham Parichet. It was evening. Lamps were lighted on the south and west veranda. A lamp was lighted in the master's room also, and incense was burned. He was repeating the name of the Divine Mother, absorbed in contemplation of her. Now this contemplation of her may be of her form, of her infinite qualities, of her special characteristics, of her real nature. In some way he was contemplating her. After a while, he talked again to the devotees. There was still some time before the evening worship in the temples. And this is being called the evening. Master to M. What need of the Sandhya has a man who thinks of God day and night? And he sings, Trisandhya je bole kali, puja sandhya se ki chaye, sandhya tar sandhya ne pere, kabu sandhi nahi paye, daya vrata dan adi, ar kichuna mane loy, madane re yaga yagya, brahmamayir ranga paye. What need of rituals has a man? What need of devotions anymore? If he repeats the mother's name at the 3 holy hours. You know the 3 holy hours? When the night passes into the day, when the day passes into the night, and mid-noon. In mid-noon, the sun rising and now sun will set. That conjoined, there is stillness in nature. So, the stillness in nature, day to night, night to day, is called Sandhya, the junction. So, there are 3 junctions. Some people say there are 4 junctions. That is midnight also. But in this song, or normal routine, we are asked to practice name of God thrice a day. At the 3 holy hours. Rituals may pursue him close, but never can they overtake him. This is the rituals, means that state of the mind where one does rituals. So that lies far below, he has gone above. So it is said that rituals chase him, they will never get him. Because this should not be simply poetry, some implication should be there. Charity, vows, and giving of gifts do not appeal to Madan's mind. Madan is obviously the name of the poet. These are all karma, rituals. The blissful mother's lotus feet are his whole prayer and sacrifice. Sacrifice, yajna. The Sandhya merges in the Gayatri in Om. You remember when Master Mashai entered Thakur's room for the first time, this was the talk. So Thakur is known to repeat his talks any number of times because the truth is truth. And so Sandhya is the worship done at the time of junction. And its purpose is to gather the mind so that it will concentrate on Gayatri. So if a man has practiced Sandhya for a long time, his mind has already become concentrated. So at the evening time, his mind jumps on Gayatri. That is called Sandhya merging into Gayatri. Shall I tell something more? No, once when I was coming by a taxi or some car, the driver was playing. Shall I tell the name? Oh, he's still living, huh? Swami Brahmeshananji's cassette on Sandhya and Gayatri. And he said that the expanse is contracted into small things. Shortened version. And now he was a Jain. So he said Sandhya means anything you do is Sandhya. If you do pranayam, it is Sandhya. If you do control of the mind, it is Sandhya. If you are chanting some stotras, it is Sandhya. How can such things merge into Gayatri? So the Orthodox Hindus know it very well. They are taught after the sacred thread is given to them that a lot of things are there. We even invoke the deity of that Sandhya, Gayatri meter and the Rishi. So all this is meant to concentrate the mind on Gayatri. So then Sandhya merges into Gayatri. Any spiritual practice done at evening will not merge in Gayatri. In Gayatri, how it will come there? So now I am bound to tell because what Sandhya is not also I have to tell. Otherwise the conflict will remain. Because I saw the driver very intently listening to that lecture. And he said, see, this is my sadhana. So those who do not know properly should not talk. And one requires to be groomed in the Hindu tradition. And Thakur is expecting that. So understood, Sandhya merging into Gayatri. Now, Gayatri merges in Om. Now the proper chanting of Gayatri also has an Om in the beginning and in the end. And the whole spirit of Gayatri is that there are three parts of Gayatri. First is the statement of truth, that the Paramatman Nirgun Sagun is pervading this loka, Swarga loka and in between. The second is meditation. we meditate on the shine of the sun which illumines all. This is a symbolic thing. We meditate on the inner reality which gives consciousness to all the beings. And third is a prayer. May He awaken our intellects. Meaning is that may our intellect be turned towards that reality. Now, if you think of this, then only we can understand how Gayatri merges in Om. So the meditation is on Om, which is the innermost reality and which gives consciousness to all. So that is what is meant by Om. So it is not just a talk. Sandhya, concentratedly, devotionally, repeated habitually, then you need not do that. Automatically, you will be chanting only Om. Clear? A man is firmly established in spiritual life when he goes into Samadhi on uttering Om only once. So that is the further progress. Om means Sagun Nirgun Brahman. Now we are asked to chant Om and meditate on the meaning of Om. Now if that meditation deepens, becomes constant, then we are firmly established in spiritual life. And so this chanting of Om, pronunciation of Om, only you do once. If your mind enters into Samadhi, then your spiritual life is put in. So, Sandhya merges into Gayatri, Gayatri in Om, Om into Samadhi. There is a sadhu in Rishikesh. Now somebody must have informed Thakur about it, because Thakur has not gone to Rishikesh, or as an all-knowing person he might have known it. There is a sadhu in Rishikesh. The purpose of Thakur's talk is to show various types of sadhana externally. Inside, it is nothing but concentration on the consciousness that is called God. There is a sadhu in Rishikesh who gets up early in the morning and stands near a great waterfall. In Rishikesh, Ganges is there. Now, how can I claim that I have seen the whole Rishikesh? But within the Ganges, sometimes the water falls from a height to the lower. Or on the opposite side of Rishikesh, there are hills and there may be a waterfall there. And stands near a great waterfall. He looks at it the whole day and says to God, "Ah, you have done well. Well done. How amazing." He doesn't practice any other form of japa or austerity. At night, he returns to his hut. Whole day he stands there. So that phenomena of water falling from a height is a special manifestation of God. So in any form, he is not worshipping Shiva or Vishnu or Kali. So this form of God also is equally potent. So Thakur's Catholicity is non-perennial because he has realized God through various paths, and from the top, if you see, you can see all the paths. What need is there even to bother one's head about whether God is with form or without form? This is such a beautiful advice because people are confused whether God is with form or without form. It is enough for a man to pray to him alone in solitude. So it is not a public display. Solitude is important because no digressive thoughts are coming to you. People are not disturbing you. Weeping, that is the intensity of feeling. Oh God, reveal yourself to me as you are. So what is your Sarup? I do not know. Reveal yourself to me as you are. So that is a neutral path of sadhana, without bothering whether he is with form or without. God is both inside and outside. Now, some people I have heard saying, when God is inside, why should we worship outside? But God is inside does not mean he is not outside. And God is inside means he is our reality. And God is outside means God is the reality of the whole world. So God at once is the reality of the subject and of all the objects. That is Ashtakuristic. It is he who dwells inside us. No, one side is telling. Therefore the Vedas say, Tattvamasi, that thou art. Means inside us, what Thakur is wanting to tell. Is inside us means he is the reality of the subject which we think we are. And that is conveyed by Tattvamasi. What is also outside us? He appears manifold through Maya, but in reality, he alone exists outside. Manifold due to his play, Maya. And real nature, one, outside. Outside, inside, one. Therefore, before describing the various names and forms of God, one should say Om Tat Sat. Now here the footnote given is taking us out of the way. In English, they have given a footnote, Om, that alone is the reality. If this Om Tat Sat is a sentence, then the translation is correct in the footnote. But this Om Tat Sat appears in the 17th chapter. Yes, Saturajatama, end of 17th chapter. And there it is clearly said, these three are names of Brahman. Om is the name of Brahman, just now I seen. Tat means that. That means Brahman. Sat means the reality. That is Brahman. So in the Gita it is said, Thakur Singh corresponds with scriptures. So in the Gita it is said that before doing any spiritual, religious or holy activity, you should chant Om Tat Sat. Suppose you are not able to cultivate Sattva Guna always, some doshas occur, so all that will be mitigated if you chant Om Tat Sat. So before describing the various names and forms of God, one should say Om Tat Sat. So it is directly linked. Otherwise, that alone is real. How this will convey? Brahman is Krishna. Brahman is Shiva. Brahman is Kali. That is clear. It is one thing to learn about God from the scriptures and quite another to see Him. So experiencing directly is more important. The scriptures only give hints. Therefore, to read a great many scriptures is not necessary. They will make you pandit, not realize God. It is much better to pray to God in solitude. So all scriptures will be revealed to you if you pray to God in solitude. That is how Thakur did it. It isn't necessary to read all of the Gita. One can get the essence of the Gita by repeating the word 10 times. It becomes reversed and is then Tagi. The essence of the book is, oh man, renounce everything and worship God. So the message of the whole Gita, whether it prescribes karma or bhakti or jnana, it prescribes renunciation. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja in the 18th chapter. Renounce everything and worship God. So even if we read the whole Gita, we should remember that this is the spirit of the Gita. Now the evening worship has started and Thakur seems to have gone to the Kali temple because the master went into an ecstatic mood while watching the evening worship of Kali in the company of the devotees. So he has gone to Kali Mandir. He was in no condition even to salute the image because he has gone there and gone into Samadhi. Very carefully he returned to his room with the devotees and sat down. He was still in an ecstatic mood. He spoke to them while in that state. In the room was Hari, a young man about 20 years of age, who was a relative of the Mukherjees and very much devoted to the master. It is not Swami Turiyananda, because he was married. At that time, he was living with the Mukherjees and looking for a job. Master, to Hari, in an ecstatic mood, take your initiation after getting your mother's permission. To Priya, referring to Hari, praise one of the Mukherjee brothers. I couldn't give him the mantra, though I said I would initiate him. I don't initiate people. Continue with your own meditation and japa as you have been doing. Okay? Priya, yes, sir. Master, and I am saying this to you in this state of my mind. So it is a divine command. That is what Thakur wants to tell. In ordinary level of consciousness, he might have told Hari to take initiation. But in this state, I am telling you this. Believe my words. You see, there is no show or deceit here. I just said to the Divine Mother in my ecstatic mood, Oh Mother, may those who come here through sincere attraction obtain perfection. Mahendra Kaviraj of City was seated on the veranda conversing with Ramlal Hazra and others. The master called to him from his room. M went out quickly and brought Mahendra in. Master to Mahendra, sit down and listen to my words. Because having come there, he is wasting his time gossiping with others. So Master has great solicitude for. Mahendra was a little embarrassed. He sat down. Master to the devotees, God can be served in different ways. An ecstatic lover of God enjoys him in different ways. Sometimes he says, Oh God, you are the lotus and I am the bee. And sometimes you are the ocean of Satchidananda and I am the fish. So different visualizations all help to concentrate and love God with some relation with God. Sometimes again the lover of God says, I am your dancing girl. He dances and sings before him, not before people, mentally or otherwise. He is dancing before God, saying, I am your dancing girl. So this is a relation. He thinks of himself sometimes as a friend of God and sometimes as his handmaid. He looks on now, sometimes. Same person can have two bhavas. He looks on God sometimes as a child, as did Yashoda, and sometimes as husband or sweetheart, as did the gopis. So, various relationship with God alternate in the mind, or all relations are with God only. There may be a sthayi bhava, but all these are varieties. Sometimes Balaram looked on Krishna as a friend. Sometimes he would think he was Krishna's umbrella or carpet. This is very direct telling. He served Krishna in all possible ways. Was Sri Ramakrishna hinting at his own state of mind while thus describing the different attitudes of a lover of God? Much as reflection. Next, he described Chaitanya's three spiritual moods. 8 बज गए. Master, Chaitanya Dev used to experience three moods. In the inmost mood, he would be absorbed in samadhi, unconscious of the outer world. In the semi-conscious mood, he would dance in ecstasy but could not talk. In the conscious mood, he would sing the glories of God. Clear? To the devotees, you are listening to my words. Try to assimilate them, experience them. When worldly people sit before a sadhu, for the time being, they completely hide all worldly thoughts, and ideas. But once away from the holy man, they let them out again. You have seen a pigeon eating dried peas. You think he has digested them, but he keeps them in his crop. You can feel them there, here. And thus put aside all duties and pray to God. It is clear here that what we call evening time is being translated as dusk. এখানে কি আছে? Sandhya Samaya. So translation one has to understand. Evening, what we call is translated as dusk, and what we call before evening is called evening. One is reminded of him by darkness. So, he is telling Sandhya. When it is dark, then people are not seen if you don't light a lamp. Nothing is seen. So, we can remember God easily. A new thought, beautiful thought. At the approach of darkness, one thinks, I could see everything a moment ago. Oh, beautiful lesson is there, huh? What happens on Sandhya? Who has brought about this change? The Musalman puts aside all activities and say their prayers at the appointed time. Of course, the appointed time during the day also. But here Thakur is telling about the fixed time, evening. Mukherjee, revered sir, is it good to practice japa? Master, yes. One attains God through japa by repeating the name of God secretly and in solitude. One receives divine grace. Then comes his vision. So grace, then experience. Suppose there is a big piece of timber lying under water and fastened to the land with a chain. By proceeding along the chain, link by link, you will at last touch the timber. So Vishwas, Japa, experience. Higher than worship is Japa. Higher than Japa is meditation. Higher than meditation is Bhava. And higher than Bhava are Mahabhava and Prema. Chaitanya Dev had Prema. When one attains Prema, one has the rope to tie God. So, this is a terminology of the Goswamis. This is not something universal. People confuse, say that I don't have love for God. If you don't have love for God, how you are chanting His name? So, what we generally see love, what Thakur told you must love God, that is different. And this prema is the highest state of that love. So, please don't get confused. Reading this, I see people are confused. And we don't have prema. Of course, by this I am telling one more thing. One should never assess oneself at the lower side. And by confusion, you don't have that love. Everybody knows you don't have that love. But you can't say that I don't have love. Without love, you could not have proceeded. So this love, Thakur is talking, technical term used by the Goswamis. When one attains prema, one has the rope to tie God. So, prema, you have caught God. That is called tying God. Hazara entered the room. Master to Hazara. Love of God, when it is intense and spontaneous, is called Ragavakti. Love of God, when it is intense and spontaneous, is called Ragavakti. No, this is not the correct translation. What can I do? তার উপর ভালোবাসা যদি আসে তার নাম রাগভক্তি আহা হুম If you get the love of God, that is called Raga Bhakti. Please change the translation. Otherwise, again it will confuse you. If you experience love of God, if love of God is an experience, if you love of God, if you experience love of God, then that devotion is called devotion with love, Raga Bhakti. Intense and spontaneous. No, experience love. Vaidhi Bhakti, formal devotion depends upon scriptures, scriptural injunctions. Okay. It comes and it goes. You have to constantly practice it. But Raga Bhakti is like a stone emblem of Shiva that has sprung up out of the bowels of the earth. One cannot find its root. They say the root goes as far as Banaras. Only an incarnation of God and his companion attain Raga Bhakti. So that is again a high state. Hadra, me, master. One day I was returning from the pine grove when I saw you telling your beads. I said to the Divine Mother, Mother, what a small-minded fellow he is, directly staring in his face, because he was an hypocrite. He lives here and still he practices japa with a rosary. That means he should be devoted to Thakur and incarnation. Whoever comes here will have his spiritual consciousness awakened all at once. He won't have to bother much about japa, revealing his own real nature and finding that Hazra could not understand it up till now. Go to Calcutta and you will find thousands telling their beads, even the prostitutes. So telling the beads is sometimes become mechanical, sometimes becomes a show, if without love of God. Now we can go back to the previous sentence. Incarnations and his associates automatically give love of God. That we had the word automatically. Others also, by practice, they come to that. That is the difference. Nitya Siddhas. To him, please bring Narayan here in a carriage, a boy devotee. Thakur loved him. I am making the same request to Mukherjee. I shall give Narayan something to eat when he comes. There is great significance in feeding boys like him. Pure boys, God dwells more directly in them. So we come to the end of conversations of October 2nd, and we are entering Saturday, October 4, 1884. It was the day of the first full moon after the Durga Puja, what is generally known as Lakshmi Puja or Kojagiri Lakshmi Puja. Sri Ramakrishna arrived at the Calcutta house of Navin Sen, the elder brother of Keshav Chandra Sen. On the previous Thursday, Keshav's mother had begged the master to pay her a visit in Calcutta. So after Keshav's passing away, the mother has shifted to the other brother. The master seated himself in a room on the upper floor of the house. With him were Baburam, Kishori, and a few other devotees. Nandalal and Keshav's other nephews, Keshav's mother and other relatives of his waited on the master. It had been arranged to have devotional music performed in the room. M was sitting in a room downstairs, listening to the kirtan. Sri Ramakrishna said to Brahmo devotees, the world is impermanent. One should constantly remember death. Keshav had died recently. Thakur is making a positive use of death and telling that important to household devotees. You constantly remember death, so you know that the world is impermanent. Then he sang. ভেবে দেখো মন কেউ কারু নয় মিছে ব্রহ্মমণ্ডলে বলো না দক্ষিণা কালী বদ্ধ হয়ে মায়া জালে দিন দুই তিনের জন্য ভাবে কর্তা বলে সবাই মানে সেই কর্তারে দেবে ফেলে কালা কালের কর্তা এলে মার জন্য সব ভেবে মার জন্য মর ভেবে সে কি তোমার সঙ্গে যাবে সেই প্রেয়সী দিবে ছড়া অমঙ্গল হবে বলে যার জন্য মর ভেবে সে কি তোমার সঙ্গে যাবে সেই প্রেয়সী দিবে ছড়া অমঙ্গল হবে বলে ইংলিশ Remember this, O mind, nobody is your own. When is your wandering in this world, trapped in this subtle snare of Maya as you are, do not forget the mother's name. Full lines are not given. You are thinking you are the doer. But when the real doer of time, Kal, comes, you will not be there. And if you are attached to a person and for him you are dying, thinking, anxiety for that person, he will not accompany you when you die. Even your darling, lover, beloved, will leave you seeing that this corpse is inauspicious. The master said to the devotees, dive deep. What will you gain by merely floating on the surface? Try to experience God. Go inside your personality. Renounce everything for a few days. So for household devotees, give up everything for a few days. Retire into solitude and call on God with all your soul. This he has repeatedly told everybody that now and then you must retire to this solitude. The master sang, dive deep, O mind, dive deep in the ocean of God's beauty. If you descend to the uttermost depths, there you will find the gem of love. So, these forms of God are on the surface. You love them and try to find their real nature. Go deep and you will find the reality there. At Sri Ramakrishna's request, the Brahmo devotees sang. Thakur is making them sing. Thou art my all in all, O Lord, the life of my life, the essence of essence. In the three words I have none else but thee to call my own. Thou art my peace, my joy, my hope. Thou my support, my wealth, my glory. Thou my wisdom and my strength. So, in this way, everything is He, your mind gets concentrated. The master sang again, O mother, for Yashoda, thou wouldst dance when she called thee her precious blue jewel. Mother herself was Krishna. Where hast thou hidden that lovely form Oh, terrible Shama. So, identifying mother with Krishna and requesting mother to assume that form, it is a lovely form. The Brahma devotees also sang to the accompaniment of cymbals and drums. That is all going on in Keshav's brother's house. Oh mother, how deep is thy love for man? This is a beautiful thing. Thakur must have taught it. Mindful of it, I weep for joy. Mother's love for children. Divine mothers. Almost from the day of my birth, I have transgressed thine every law, and still thou lookest on me with love. This is a great devotional song. Comforting me with sweetest words, mindful of it, I weep for joy. O Mother, the burden of thy love is far too great for me to bear. My soul gives a heart-piercing cry at thy love's touch. To thee I come, seeking a refuge at thy feet. They again sang of the Divine Mother. This is Thakur has taught, Keshav had also adopted. O Mother, thou my inner guide, ever awake within my heart, day and night thou holdest me in thy lap. Why dost thou show such tenderness to this unworthy child of thine? It seems thou art mad with love, now caressing, now with strong grasp. Holding me firm, thou givest me to drink thy nectar, pouring in my ears the words of loving tenderness. So all this will generate our love for God. Praising God for His love, His protecting care will rise our love for God. Unceasing is thy love for me, a love that cannot see my faults. Whenever I am in danger, thou dost save me. Savior of sinners, I know the truth. I am my mother's and she is mine. Now I shall listen to her alone and follow the path of righteousness, drinking the milk that flows from my mother's breast. I shall be strong and sing with joy. Hail, O Mother, Brahman eternal. So this I learned from Thakur. Two things. Mother loves me, so I love her. And mother's love, I am strong, I am not weak. So that was that. Then Sunday, October 5, 1884. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room after the midday meal with M. Hazra, the elder Kali. Seems that the puja holidays are extended. With M. Hazra, the elder Kali, Bodo Kali. So there might be two Kalis. Kali Prasanna, maybe an householder, and Kali Prasad was Avedananda later on. Baburam, Ramlal, Hari and others. Some of them sat on the floor and some stood about. On the previous day, the master had visited Keshav's mother at her Calcutta house and had made her happy with his devotional songs. She must have felt very happy by Thakur singing and Brahma singing. It must have soothed her heart like anything, and her attraction for Thakur might have increased. Hadra had been living with the master Dakshineshwar a long time. He was a little conceited about his knowledge and even criticize the master now and then before others. Again, he would sit on the veranda of the master's room and tell his beads with apparent concentration. He spoke slightingly of Chaitanya as a modern incarnation. He would say, God gives not only pure devotion but also wealth. Here, Master is describing his anti-Thakur views. He has no lack of it. By obtaining God, one obtains the 8 occult powers as well. Hazra had a small debt to clear up, about 1000 rupees. He had incurred it for the building of his house and was worried about paying it. That is the background. The elder Kali had a position in an office. Oh, Kalipada Ghosh. That is Girish's friend, a drama person. The elder Kali had a position in an office from which he received a small salary. He had a large family to maintain. He was devoted to the master and visited him now and then, even absenting himself from the office. Kali to Hazra. You go about criticizing people, you are like a touchstone, testing what is pure gold and what is impure. Why do you speak so much ill of others? So he is gaining strength from Thakur. Hazra, whatever I say to him, meaning Sri Ramakrishna alone. Master, that is so. That is accepted. Hazra began to explain Tattva Jnana. This is a wonderful something. Huh? Tattva is Brahman. Tattva Jnana is knowledge of Brahman. But in Sankhya, there are 24 Tattvas. And that also Hadra is telling wrongly. Hadra, the meaning of Tattva Jnana is the knowledge of the existence of the 24 Tattvas or cosmic principles. He was wrong about the meaning of the word. Wrong about the meaning of the word. Tattva means reality only, the essence, thatness, the real nature. A devotee, what are they? Hadra, the 5 elements, the 6 passions. So, his knowledge of 24 tattvas also is wrong. The 5 organs of perception, the 5 organs of action, and so forth. So, he is not completed also. Aim to the master smiling. He says that the 6 passions are included in the 24 cosmic principles. Master smiling. Listen to him. Notice how he explains Tattva-jnana. The word really means knowledge of the self. The word Tat means the supreme self, and the word Tvam, the embodied soul. Tattvamasi. One attains supreme knowledge, Tattva-jnana, by realizing the identity of the embodied soul and the supreme self. Tattvamasi. Tattva-jnana. So Thakur has identified in this way. After a few minutes, Hazra left the room and sat on the porch. Master, to him and the others, he, meaning Hazra, only argues. This moment perhaps he understands, but the next moment he is old self again. Inner purity is not there, desires are there. When the angler hooks a big fish and finds it pulling hard, he releases the line. Otherwise, it will snap and the angler himself will be thrown into the water. Therefore, I do not say much to him. If Thakur criticizes him, he will die. To him, Hazra said that a man could not be liberated unless he was born in a Brahmin body. How is that? I said. One attains liberation through bhakti alone. Shabari was the daughter of a hunter. She, Ruhidas, low caste man, and others belonged to the Shudra caste. They were liberated through bhakti alone. But still, Hazra insisted. He recognized Dhruva's spiritual greatness. but not as much as he recognized Prahlad's. When Latu said Dhruva had great yearning for God from his boyhood, he kept still. I think we stop here. Huh? It is going on. We'll pick up this other thing again tomorrow. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibirīditam Kalmashāpaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadatam Bhuigranti Ye Bhurida Jana. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.